after 2019. We don't want MMC, we don't want anything, we're fine. You can see we're cruising nicely here. We have no headache of anything. We are running systems. All we are doing now is pushing policy. We are passing laws which are preparing for, we are passing laws as part of preparing to take over next year. So that when we come into power, the laws are favorable. We can expropriate land without compensation, without depending on any party. Reserve Bank will be all state-owned. We'll have a state-owned bank. We'll have free education. You can see we're pushing policy now, so that when we come in, we settle nicely and start with implementation of a friendly policy. That's what we're doing, preparation. You can't go and just take over government without preparing. Why? Because we're not suffering from uncontrollable ambition for power. It takes time. We're building it ground up and gradually. We're still at the foundation level. We're building a solid foundation. The things that these people are doing, including the DA, you can see, they were not prepared for government. How do you expel a person without a process in Nelson Mandela? And you call them Democratic Alliance. We had a similar problem here in Mogale City. They didn't vote according to the mandate of the party. It took us, how many months, SG?
4 to 6 months.
6 months processing them. We still had to give them a letter, tell us why we shouldn't suspend you. They responded, then we suspended them. Then we took them to the DC. Then they said they were sick, they can't attend on this day. That painful process, the so-called Democratic Alliance has got no patience for such. And it is still a loving and the dulling of those who control the media. That is the most undemocratic thing. Imagine if it was done in the EFF DP. Malema the dictator. Imagine if in the EFF we had written a letter, hey, remove that fool immediately from the chamber. Malema the dictator. That was going to be the headline. But because it is done by whites, and whites in the eyes of those who control the media in South Africa can never do anything wrong, they will never be called dictators. They can do as they wish in South Africa. They will never be called dictators. Imagine if it was the EFF person refusing to vacate office. All types of names will be given to that person. Why is Trolley crying for position? He's literally crying as if he was born to be a mayor. Snap elections, we're ready. We're ready anyway in Johannesburg, in Metro, Nelson Mandela Metro, in Tshwane, we're ready. We have no problem at all. We're not scared. I said in our statement, we're born ready. That is not just a saying. We were formed 8 months down the line, we went into national elections. So why would we not be ready for snap elections after being in existence for 5 years? We are called criminals, corrupt people by the DA. The DA that is in alliance with unrepentant fraudsters and gangsters in Nelson Mandela. People who have served jail. People who are still involved in criminal activities. DA is ready to go with them into a coalition in Nelson Mandela. We are not even going into a coalition with the ANC, but we are called corrupt because we are going into a coalition with the ANC. But gangsterism, asking to even lead a transport MMC so that drugs can move freely in PE, that is what the DA allows. And then call themselves, we are in the same WhatsApp group with corrupt people. They are in the same WhatsApp group with gangsters. Gangsters. Which at a press conference said, Malema is a small boy. Trolley is going nowhere. Where is Trolley today? We just told you he will go. We have 10 DA black African councillors, by the way. In PE. 10, SG.
Yes,
10. 10. We have them in the DA. We've had meetings with them, meetings and meetings. They can expel that one. They will have to expel all of them.
One by one.
Because for every motion of no confidence, one will come out.
Just fold their arms.
They just fold their arms. They don't do anything. We didn't ask them for too much. We said, just fold your arms. Don't do anything. 10 of them. That's why when I said in PE, he might not go now because he has formed alliance with gangsters, but he will eventually go. We've had meetings. We continue to have meetings with them. There's a huge contingent of the black Africans in the DA in the Eastern Cape, which is disgruntled, not in Nelson Mandela only. The whole of Eastern Cape, disgruntled because of how Trollip is treating them. When I said to Musi, remove this guy yourselves and save the DA. He refused. That Trollip treats DA Africans the same way Pravin Gordhan treats Africans in the ANC. If ministers were to be voted for, ANC people were going to vote against Pravin. If we were to pass a motion of no confidence against Pravin Gordhan, that's how Africans feel about Pravin in the ANC. The same way Africans feel about Trollip in the DA, in PE, and the whole of Eastern Cape. Thank you.
All right, are there any other questions? We'll take the last round. Start with you. And three hands as yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you can start.
Thank you, CIC, for taking all these issues. On an international note, we have the UK Prime Minister here, and they're making major advancements to the continent, anywhere from the EFF. Secondly, are you talking to the aides, nationally, provincial, and in the local structures? And thirdly, you say on record you are not afraid of snap elections. There's been a couple of by-elections since August 2016, and the EFF has not done that. What makes you think you will do well in the snap elections if they were to take place?
Mr. Malema, so MultiChoice today said, so Afro Worldview is being replaced with Newsroom Africa. So I'd just like to get your thoughts on that and whether you're happy with it.
And last one's from me with regards to Tshwane. Would you vote for the ANC's Kosi Maeva? And do you want the city manager, or I think Mosola, to be replaced as well?
I'll hand over to you, sir.
The city manager was still to be told, actually, through evidence, what is it that this guy has done. In the EFF, we don't want Mosola to go until we are told what is it that this guy has done. They must give us evidence, not some headlines and competition with news opinions between DA and the ANC as to who's the best fighter of corruption in Tshwane. When the ANC falls actually into a trap of white caucus of the DA, which wants Mosola gone because Mosola has exposed the unqualified white people who are hired by the DA in that municipality. Why is the DA not telling you that Soli was sitting in the panel that appointed Marietta? And what have they done to Soli, who sat in a panel that appointed Marietta, including Brinks? Is it Brinks?
Brink, yeah.
Brink. No, Brink, the MMC.
MMC.
It was the white MMC and Soli who sat in that interview that interviewed Marietta without qualifications. What have they done? Because it is also corruption. What have they done to Brink? What have they done to Soli? For having presided over a panel with a person who's not qualified. So we don't want that CM gone until we are given an evidence. And my sister, again, that is another example of lack of consultation. If they had come to us and said, EFF, here are the serious allegations, here is a prima facie evidence that demonstrates there was wrongdoing. And therefore we need to act. There are allegations against all municipal managers actually all over South Africa. But they are not tested. That's why they are not suspended. It can't be on the basis of allegation that no, a person must be suspended. Let them call us, sit us down, give us evidence, then, only then, we'll agree. But we'll ask the question, what about Soli? They must both take full responsibility. Soli, in the report he sent to the council meeting now, he says the CM presented in the mayoral committee that tender and he trusted him. Then I ask myself, why do you trust him? You can't read. Why didn't Soli satisfy himself by going through the document and look at the law and see if those things are allowed? So it means you have an executive mayor who relies on verbal reports. That is another demonstration why he should go. When he says, no, the CM presented, we were satisfied. He doesn't say, he went through the documents himself. So it means Soli only listened to the CM and took a decision on the basis of what the CM said. That alone is a disqualification. We have a mayor who doesn't read, only reads tweets. How do you run a municipality through reading tweets and Instagram status? No, we can't have a mayor like that who runs such a big city without reading. Soli said he has not read. He was told by the CM. Then he must go. We need a reading mayor. Khosi is a doctor. Maybe he's got a reading capacity because he's a PhD graduate. But can Khosi be a mayor? Where has Khosi led before? So we'll hear. If the ANC brings Khosi, apart from being a PhD, which demonstrates that he's a reader, what more? That is not enough. What more can the ANC tell us about Khosi? We don't know him. We need to be told. So we'll listen to the ANC. If the ANC, let me tell you, if the ANC puts a credible, legitimate candidate, we'll vote for them without fear. We'll not be scared. We'll do it. The same way we did when we voted for a party that has harbored apartheid collaborators. When it makes sense, we'll do it. We did that before, and we didn't lose any single vote because our voters trust our judgment. Well, MultiChoice has presented some unknown fellows. We may need some time because the file I'm going through is terrible. It's bad. So the MultiChoice, we may need a special press conference for that, so I can give you copies. There's something that is running there which is not proper, and we'll come back to it because one of the things we may want to do, DP, instead of a press conference, we may want to ask the Parliament Committee to call the MultiChoice.
Yeah, they must come.
And come and explain how they arrived at this determination, given the amount of evidence we have. Because we know this group was not number one. It was not number one. They were not number one.
Yeah.
So we need to be told, why jump number one? They were not number two. Why jump all those people and arrive at this? Who knows these people?